Hey guys, this is OddOneGaming. This is going to be another Raid Shadow Legends video. Today we're going to talk about one of the special tournaments that Plarium do from time to time that has popped today for Dragon. So the Dragon tournament of today has a special requirement. It says Dragon tournament using only champions from specific faction, that is the Nyresan, or however you would read that word, union. And to be fair, the milestone points are not that bad. To get to like 2100, 100 is pretty decent. You get some, I guess, acceptable, let's say acceptable rewards along the way. I guess the most interesting thing is getting the ancient shard and the epic book. However, if you manage to get first place, you get 6-star epic relentless gear plus some charms and other ancient. So if you're looking to get yourself better relentless gear, like a shot of getting better relentless gear because it's RNG, I'm thinking honestly you should try and push for first place, like depending on your group. If you see that people are not pushing for this in your group, I would go and push hard on this one. So that's what I would do. Or if you cannot go for first place, I would still encourage you to go for like the milestones at least, because you know, getting some ancients with getting a book and maybe that extra shot of like getting your maybe get some good speed gear, you never know, from that one is totally worth it. So let me show you guys that the team that I actually am using myself, which to be fair, even though it doesn't look like it, but for somebody that has played over 1 year and that has done last year's fusions and has been playing this whole time, this is a free-to-play team. Apart from Tronda, which is like, she's not free to play because I pulled her, Brogni was a fusion, Herning was a fusion, Ninja was a free champion, and Demetha was a champion that was part of the Sigmund fusion, which I'm not regretting now, and I'm seeing that it was an awesome choice for me to do, is I kept her. So instead of going for Sigmund, which seemed underwhelming for me, I think it was one of the very few or the only fusions that I actually skipped to keep her. So to be fair, if you played over 1 year, this one should be extremely easy for you to do. The reason why I'm doing stage 20, as you've noticed, and I'm going for stage 24 or 25 is, you know, we have the CVC going on right now, and we will get maybe more points for doing 25, but that would take me a little bit longer. I don't want to try and continue and I don't know, stress about specializing and getting the best time on this team, because I specifically care about just hitting the milestones. And if you're just trying to do a certain event like this one only to get as many points as possible, the most efficient stage out there to do is stage 20, based on like the ratio between energy used and points that you can make. Stage 20, whenever it comes to tournaments or events, is the best stage you can do to be efficient for like the energy that you use. That's the statistic that I've seen everywhere. Everybody says the same thing. If you want best points, do stage 20. Doesn't matter, Dragon, Fire Knight, whatever, all the dungeons, same thing. So this team, as you can see, I mean, to be fair, I'm not gonna be like, oh yeah, this is easy for everybody. I'm pretty end game. So you see my damages here, you see my teams. It's like, you know, my Brogni, I'm using my Hydra gear. My Ninja is he's in regen gear that I used for the Griffin. Tronda is my best nuking gear. Herning is my second best nuking gear, and Demetha is my build for the Mythfu. So the time is pretty fast. You can get close to 2 minutes, 3 minutes max on 20 with just using either this team or their different options that you could use. So let's have a look through those two factions and see what we can get. So the Nyresan, or Nyresan, however you would read that, union has basically just dwarves and the Shadowkin. So if you look at our options, honestly, anybody that we have in the legendary category for the dwarves would be insane. You have nuker, best support, good for single target nuking. Even this Beauregard dude, I think, would be nice to have like the increased speed in there, the shields, and what else? Without res, maybe he wouldn't be as decent. Like, he could support, but I feel like, yeah, I don't think he will be for PV. Molly could be good for the revive, the provoke, the boosting of the turn meter. Samar maybe not so good, and Tormin obviously for the CCs. So I would guess like what, 80%, 70% of the legendaries, like anybody could be good in there. From the epics category, I guess you could argue for Cornelia to use for the, if you already have her built and maybe booked, she could be really decent with her AoE sleep. What is it? Yeah, with her AoE sleep she can do some decent control, she can do some healing with this one, she has a good aura. Another one that could be really good is like from the previous fusion, Filja or Filia, or however you would read this one as well, depending, I guess it depends on the nationality, if it's Norse, if you would read it as Italian. Anyway, I'm rambling. She could be really good as a nuker. She has this passive that constantly puts increased attack and increased crit damage on her if she has what, 2 or fewer buffs at the start of the turn. She does this AoE that boosts her turn meter, then she comes back to this one, she can deplete turn meter, she can hit pretty decent. So she could be a really good option as a nuker if you like more free to play. Rearguard Sergeant, most people know her kit, she could be really defensive. Geomancer, which I don't have on my main account, could be really good for taking down the boss. Like in the boss part, if you put his HP burn, because of his passive you could kill it. Rockbreaker, I'm not sure, he could be decent maybe for to CC the waves, but I would argue not sure he would be that good in there. Melga could be really helpful because of the revives. Fodbar, to be fair, is the only, I guess, epic decreased defense in like both of those ones, or like, because the only ones that you have is like higher level, it's Herneg or Genzen as a legendary. So apart from that, he's the only decreased defense options if you don't have one, and he's the only one. He's good to make you speed up the waves. Runekeeper could be a good champion because he brings AoE turn meter increase, AoE increase attack, and at the same time he brings the cleanse and the heal. So this could be good for the waves, and it could be good for the boss part. Then Berdel Felharm, not really. Gal I wouldn't bring because she's single target nuke. Ragnar again wouldn't bring single target mostly. I wouldn't focus that much on single target stuff. And Demetha, we all know she's insane. On the rare category, there's not too many I would suggest. Maybe Master Butcher for passive healing if you don't have any other option, or like a random revive when he goes down. Avir could be decent because he has like the AoE turn meter boost and heal as well. So there's like very few callouts that I would say honestly, but if you don't have any other option, obviously look for other champions that could help you. Like for example, if there's somebody that has AoEs on the A1, use them, put them in a stun set for good control. But if you have some decent epics from here, this should be really fine. From the Shadowkin though, obviously Jintoro could be a really insane champion. However, because he's mostly single target, I would guess you would use him as mostly as like the one taking down the boss at the end. So he would be obviously he would help with the waves, taking down the wave like one champion at a time, but you would prefer AoEs. However, when you get to the boss, he can do some serious damage. Lady Kim is insane for like AoE control, boosting turn meter, pushing turn meter back, decreased speed. She's an insanely good champ. Ninja, we all know, crazy damage, good control, decreased defense. Yoshi, if you have build, can also be a good champion. He brings the speed aura as well. He brings the AoE true fear. Like if you have him booked, is 75%. If they have like increased attack on the enemy team, which they're not gonna have, it's 100%. So if you have him booked, he could be useful as another layer of control. Also bringing the HP burn and decreased accuracy plus a stun on the A1. So he could be a really good option. Nobel is kinda meh. Genzin can do some damage. He has multi-healer, multi-hitter on the A1. Some turn meter manipulation on the A3. AoE drop defense if you have him and you already have it booked. Use him, why the hell not? Kyoko can be insanely tanky unit, like for support. If you just put her in there to make you survive with the ally protection on the boss part, you're never gonna get one shot while she's there. Gamoran can be an interesting like passive reviver. If you don't have him, if you don't have any other revivers, he can help you on the waves. Once you get to the boss part, he cannot help you. If everybody dies, there's no way he will help you revive. But if you have problems with the waves and no problems with the boss part, Gamoran could be a really good option. I put mine, for example, in a toxic set for faction wars. Does some damage, passive revives, AoE on this one. He can also make some heals with his passive, can block some revives in here, and chance to block active skill on the A1. He can be a decent champion. Karato, if you have him, he can be good for the AoEs. We all know his kit, he's pretty new. Riho, again, insanely good support. Cleanser, block debuffs, she could be really good for the waves. And for the boss part, Jing1 is like one of the most hated one. We're not even gonna talk about that. he's just underwhelming. And Yumeko, she's a goddess. Like if you have Yumeko, bring her in the team, she will already be built in your max gear if you know what she does, and that's it. From the epics though, we have some really good options for the epics as well. Toragi is really insane with his AoE provoke, good for the waves. The stun and air protection makes you survive. Poisons on his passive, that you know, really good. Really, poisons are the best ones for the boss, and decreased attack on the A1. Then you have Hotatsu as well, that can bring us the increased defense AoE, continuous heal, decreased attack AoE as well. That's good for the waves and for the boss. Plus the leech, especially for the boss, and he has a really good aura, increased defense in all battles by 25%. Chani, Umetogi, not so sure they would be that good. Sachi could be interesting for the, if you put that in a stance because of the AoE A1. Also puts AoE increase attack, then she attacks one person, and if she crits, she boosts your turn meter, so she could be decent because of that. She can also revive, but she has to like hit pretty hard in order to revive, so I wouldn't rely too much on that. Fenshi, I'm not sure he would be that helpful here. His kit is more towards Fire Knight. Burangiri, maybe because of his because of his AoE stun chance on the A2, he could be really good. Kunoichi could be really good because she has the ally protection. She also has the AoE leech, weaken on the A1, really interesting passive. Chonoru not so much. Gori maybe like as an oddball chance to freeze, because he has like, he's 100% but 3 times the random could freeze the same person, but that could still be useful, you never know. Juroji not so sure. Masamoto again, turn meter controller, could boost your turn meter, increase defense, and I think he has AoE decrease attack. Yeah, AoE decrease attack as well. Oboro, she can do some interesting stuff, but for her it's mostly like you need lots of debuffs, so I'm not sure she would be that helpful here. Gembo for some damage. In the rares category, maybe the only one I would call out would be, I don't know, Fanatic, if you need another cleanser increased attack. But like I've talked a lot, I've just seen that there's been lots of minutes. Overall, I believe that if you have sorted some of the champions in these two factions, I'm quite sure you're going to be able to come up with a team to be able to tackle that tournament, and maybe, like I said, just get those milestone rewards. I would never pass on those. They're like, I would guess, sort of free rewards that you can take advantage of and go for, so I would not skip this one if you're able to do it, and I would definitely go and do my best to get those rewards and maybe even win your group, who knows, depends how hard your group is. But that will be it for today, guys. I've rambled for long enough. Well, I guess we will see each other in the next video. Peace, love you all, and take care, guys. Goodbye.